It was New Year's Eve of 2022, December 31st. My friend Jacob asked me to look after his dog, Rocky, while he went out of town for New Year's. I'm 35 and he's 27. I don't really like going out to party on New Year's Eve, so I was happy to stay in and earn some money. Jacob left early in the morning and said he would be back on Sunday night. He told me to feed Rocky twice a day and keep him off the furniture. Rocky is a small husky mix, very quiet and well-behaved. I brought a backpack with my laptop, charger, toiletries, and a change of clothes for Sunday. I don't know Jacob very well. We met through mutual friends and started hanging out on weekends. I planned to sleep in his spare bedroom on a futon. I spent the day doing stuff on my laptop and playing Jacob's video games. Later at night, I invited my girlfriend, Emily, over. Jacob was okay with it and joked, "You better not in my room," meaning she could come over. Emily said she'd come over after work, around midnight. So I spent time alone with Rocky, watching movies until she arrived. We were in the living room when the doorbell rang at about 9 p.m. I answered the door and saw a woman around 30 years old wearing a hoodie and holding a jacket. She said she was Jacob's girlfriend and needed to grab something she left behind. I let her go upstairs to Jacob's room to get it. I texted Jacob about the girl because I didn't know he had a girlfriend. She stayed upstairs for a while, then came down, thanked me, and left. I tried to ask her a few questions, but she just laughed and said goodnight. I started to worry and called Jacob, but he was out with friends and it was noisy. When he finally went outside to talk, I told him about the girl. He was surprised and said he didn't have a girlfriend. Jacob asked me to check his room to see if anything was missing. Everything seemed fine, but he was trying to figure out who the girl could have been. He sent me pictures of different girls, but none of them were her. After a while, Jacob texted me, saying he thought he knew who it was and to make sure she didn't come back. I didn't ask more and just said, okay. I watched the ball drop alone, not really caring about the new year. Later, Emily came over and we hung out in the living room. I told her about what happened and she was shocked. Suddenly, Rocky looked at the front door and there was a knocking. It wasn't the doorbell, so I didn't open it. I called Jacob, but he didn't answer. Emily and I stayed quiet, and eventually, the person left. We decided to move to the spare bedroom for the night. We had a movie on, and I held Emily as we fell asleep. We woke up later to Rocky's howling. He was at the bedroom door, growling and looking scared. We heard footsteps outside and the doorknob twisting. Thankfully, we had locked the door. A girl's voice outside said, "Jacob." I told Emily to call the police, and she did while whispering. I shouted that the cops were on their way and warned the people outside. We heard them walk away and waited for the cops. They came and found the house clear. The cops talked to Jacob on the phone. They thought the girl had taken a key from Jacob's room. It was a mess, and Jacob couldn't come home. He asked me to stay the rest of the night. I had Emily go home and stayed in the locked room with Rocky. I even put a chair against the front door. In the morning, everything was calm, and Jacob came back earlier than planned. Jacob told me who he thought the girl was and why she might have broken in. It wasn't to steal anything, which was scary. He changed his locks right away. It's been a year now, and nothing else has happened. On New Year's Eve of 2018, Liam and I went back to our apartment. It was really late, around 2 a.m. We're not much into partying. We like staying at home. Our apartment is in a big building, really high up. It usually has tight security, but that night it was quiet, and the doorman wasn't there. The lobby was empty and kind of spooky, because one of the lights kept blinking. We took the elevator to go up to our floor. I was tired and just wanted to relax. When the elevator doors opened, we saw something weird. A woman in a ripped white dress was wandering around our hallway. Her hair was really messy and covered her face. She didn't have any shoes on. Liam thought she might be lost or had too much to drink. She didn't look like anyone we knew from our building. I felt a bit scared because she was acting so strange. She walked really slow, stopping at each door to look through the peephole. She was making this creepy noise, kind of like humming, but it sounded really odd. Then she got to Mrs. Baker's door. Mrs. Baker is an old lady who lives on our floor. I wanted to make sure Mrs. Baker was okay, so I asked the woman if she needed help. The woman turned around quickly, and I got a glimpse of her face. It was really pale, and her eyes looked scary. She started laughing in a really creepy way, and then started banging on Mrs. Baker's door. I got so scared that I called the police. But then the woman fell to the ground and started crawling towards us. Her eyes were dark, and she made a hissing sound. It was terrifying. Liam and I didn't wait for the elevator. We ran to the stairs and went down a few floors. We stopped to listen, but couldn't hear anything. We were really scared. We finally went back up to our floor. The hallway was empty. The woman was gone. We hurried into our apartment and locked the door. The next morning, Liam talked to the building manager about what happened. The manager checked the security cameras, but they didn't show the woman. He thought maybe the cameras weren't working because of the cold weather. We still don't know who the woman was or what she was doing in our building. It was one of the scariest things that ever happened to us. We eventually moved to a different place, but every New Year's Eve, we think about that night.